Most days, it is incredibly easy to feel like a tiny speck caught in the gears of a massive, indifferent machine. When life gets difficult, our default instinct is to fight back against the physical world. We try to force our circumstances to bend to our will, operating under the assumption that our problems exist entirely out there. For decades, the hard sciences relied entirely on physical measurement to understand this world. You look at the dials, you record the data, and you assume the universe operates completely independently of the person taking the notes. But independent threads of inquiry, from ancient Eastern philosophy to the absolute cutting edge of quantum mechanics, have arrived at the exact same conclusion. The reality you experience does not actually exist without you looking at it. The idea of a cold, detached universe operating on its own is an illusion. We are the unconscious creators of our physical circumstances, entirely blind to our own influence. Let's look at the hard data. This diagram shows the setup of the famous double-slit experiment, the definitive physical proof that reality depends on observation. On the left, a light source fires toward a barrier with two tiny slits. When no one is actively measuring the system, the light travels as a wave. It passes through both slits simultaneously, creating a sprawling interference pattern of infinite, overlapping probabilities. Here is the bizarre twist of physics. The exact moment an observer, a detector, is added to the slits to record the path, the wave instantly collapses. It stops acting like a wave of probabilities and locks into distinct, predictable clusters of physical particles. Because every object in our macroscopic world, our bodies, our homes, our obstacles, is built entirely from these subatomic particles, this experiment raises a radical question. If observation forces the micro-universe to choose a single physical state, then our continuous human attention may be the very thing anchoring the macro-universe into place. This creates a deeply uncomfortable paradox. If our own consciousness is what collapses infinite possibilities into a solid reality, then we are the ones unknowingly manifesting the very situations that cause us anxiety and pain. Until we understand exactly how our own observation mechanics work, we will keep accidentally trapping ourselves in negative physical states of our own making. Long before physicists built photon detectors, ancient Siddha mystics modeled this exact dynamic. They taught that the human body is a perfect microcosm, containing all the forces of the wider universe. In this tradition, your internal balance of the five elements, like earth for stability or fire for intellect, directly dictates your mental state. That internal state then projects outward to shape your environment. This dynamic reveals the concept of quantum reflection. The physical environment acts as a response system, echoing your internal vibrational frequency through the specific circumstances and events you encounter. Think of trying to wipe a smudge off a mirror. You can scrub the glass all day, expending massive physical effort, but the smudge won't disappear because the dirt is actually on your own face. By clearing your internal state and correcting your emotional frequency, the external reflection automatically aligns. The environment shifts without you having to physically force it. True control over your life never happens by fighting the physical world. It requires shifting your identity from a reactive participant to the proactive projector. Understanding that the world is your reflection completely changes how you interact with struggle. It opens the door to a concept known in ancient texts as Leela, or the cosmic play. Leela is the act of engaging with the world entirely for the joy of the experience. You create realities without any rigid attachment to winning or losing, much like a child building a sandcastle they know the tide will wash away. We suffer because we take the reflection too seriously. Suffering occurs the moment the creator forgets they are playing a role, gets lost in the character, and believes the temporary illusion is a permanent threat. Recognizing that life is a dynamic game grants you unconditional freedom. You can participate fully, build complex lives, and love deeply without being crushed by the weight of cosmic stakes. Mastery within this system leads to a state of liberation called mukti. You remain fully engaged with the physical world while staying internally untouched, much like a lotus leaf that rests on water without ever becoming wet. Reaching this state requires a systematic silencing of internal noise. When you stop reacting to the external reflection, you can retreat into the silence of the source, the quiet center where your consciousness originates. This is zero-point consciousness. By bringing chaotic thoughts to a complete halt, you find yourself back at the detector, holding the same creative power that collapses a wave of probability into a solid event. The directive here is clear. Stop fighting the reflection in the mirror. Align your internal frequency, quiet the mind, and accept your role as the deliberate observer of your experience. You are not a tiny, insignificant fragment of a random cosmos. You are the sovereign architect of your own perception, and the universe functions like a field of probability, simply waiting for your command to collapse into reality.